Hello everyone, I'm Jasmine. Today I'm going to read chapter 2 of Stand By Me, which was written by Sudeep Nagarkar. Let us read chapter 2. 7 months later. Pain is terrifying, but numbness is worse. That night in November, not one but two people had died. One soul escaped forever, but the other was dying every day. Kartik curled further into a messy ball as the days passed. The voices within him wouldn't allow him to live a normal life after Ruhi's death. Thoughts consumed him, and he couldn't find a way to run away from them. He just couldn't accept what had happened. It festered inside him. The person he was, the person he had become, and the person he was becoming. It wasn't his fault. He went for walks. He tried to spend time with friends, but nothing worked. Not even Deepika's best efforts to help him recover. There was no fixing his depression. Making him pop pills or stabbing him with needles didn't seem to help him. When the will to live deserted him a month after his sister's death, he had to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Doctors were trying their best to cure him, but deep inside, Kartik knew the reason he had turned silent. More than her death, what was killing him was the fact that no one believed his story. If it was just the police or other random people, he would probably have been fine. But even Deepika and his family didn't seem to trust him anymore. It had been almost 7 months now that he had to live with a lie only he knew. Good evening, Kartik. How are you today? Dr. Rakesh Singh asked as he entered the room. On Fridays, Kartik had one-to-one sessions with the doctor so the latter could keep tabs on his progress. Today was his 25th session, and according to Dr. Singh, he was improving. Kartik had no real answer to Dr. Singh's question. What was he supposed to say? Was he supposed to blurt out that he still felt the presence of a black hole inside his mind, or that he wanted to kill himself every day? Of course, he couldn't express those feelings, as they would only cage him for a few more months. Will saying that I'm feeling better get me out of this shit? It's my job to ask, Dr. Singh said with a smile as he flipped through the papers in his file. You know that we have to reach the root of your emotional pain, not only for the sake of our study, but as a step towards healing for you. In most cases, traumatic events cause our mind to shut down. That's how our brain reacts. But I see that you have improved a lot, and if you cooperate with us, you will soon be discharged. But remember, no drinks, no drugs, no nonsense addictions right? I've been hearing this since our first session. You got my point. They only intensify your trauma, and your mind needs stability right now. Karthik nodded. He hated attending these sessions, but the fact was that expressing his feelings to Dr. Singh had actually helped him. Most of their conversations were about copying, but whenever Dr. Singh had talked about the incident, he could feel an anger burning inside him, which scared him. During the initial sessions, when he had sat blank-faced and hardly uttered a word, Dr. Singh had tried to just bring him back to life. Deepika never spoke about the incident when she visited, and the doctors had tried to spare him the recollection of those memories as well. It was only in the past few sessions that Dr. Singh had talked about it. Maybe they felt now that he was managing pretty well. However, Karthik cooperated only because he wanted to escape the trap. He didn't want to go back to the house for obvious reasons, but he didn't want to stay in the hospital either. So, how many kilometers did you cover today during your morning run? Dr. Singh continued, throwing questions at him. Almost 4. I have been timing myself with a watch given to us. Karthik folded his hands in his lap. This isn't it good. The doctors were right, Dr. Singh added. About what? That considering the way you have kept up with the routine therapy, you will get a discharge soon. The words didn't affect him. Dr. Singh is just bluffing, as usual, to make me feel better, he thought. He looked at the doctor with a straight face and fiddled with the rosters on the table. Can I ask you something? Karthik asked. After a brief pause, Sure, go ahead. Why are we made to run? I mean, we aren't competing in the Olympics for sure. So how does it help? Running not only helps people vent their frustrations, but also helps them gain mental composure. Karthik didn't believe the latter was true, but he knew that it did help with the frustration and the anger. In fact, he had made it a habit to run as fast as he could before the sessions to keep his head cool. I don't know how you'll take this, but I think I have to tell you. Dr. Singh looked straight into his eyes as if he was trying to hypnotize him. Before Karthik could respond, he continued. The police want to meet you tomorrow morning. I have to agree to this. I know you hate talking to them, and maybe you want to hit me with those rosters, but I have no choice. Why do they have to meet me now? They closed the case, didn't they? Maybe a closing formality. I have told them not to be too harsh with you. They don't believe anything I say anyway. Karthik said angrily. He didn't want to talk to the cops. It was useless and made him feel depressed, for they had been rejecting the story he had narrated from the very first day. Besides, the more they questioned him, the more he felt like a loser for not being able to remember anything about the night. He wanted to run away that very moment, somewhere no one knew him and no one would keep him like a caged bird. He wanted to bang his head on a wall in sheer helplessness. I have to resist. This can't be happening. Why are they after my life? In any case, they think I'm an alcoholic, that my story is fake, and my statement can't be considered because my mental health is fucked up. So how the fuck do these meetings help? Let them go ahead with their stupid fabricated story. Close the case once and for all, terming it as suicide. The case is closed. What do they want from me now? Can't I just be allowed to live a normal life? I have lost Ruhi forever. Deepika is all alone outside while I'm in a goddamn fucking cage here. Why can't they just leaving us be? Trust me, Karthik, everything will be okay. Tata Singh reassured him, and he realized he would have to go along. How much more helpless can a person get? Just so I can leave this bloody place and show that I am alright. I have to agree with the doctors, talk to the police. I wish I could have died instead of Ruhi. This life is worse than death. Why did you leave us, Ruhi? Why? We loved you. We did. You were everything to us. I just can't stand this loss. Please come back for my sake.
Subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon for more audio reading books.